All right, it's time to put your social skills to the test. Just a 2-question quiz. The first one's easier, the second one's more difficult. Number 1, you're at a holiday work party or a happy hour after work with colleagues, or you're home for the holidays, and someone comes up to you like this. They are clearly drunk. What's the fear when people are too drunk? What do they have a tendency to do? Well, as BAC goes up, blood alcohol level goes up, the filter goes to sleep. So people start talking without a filter and they say very inappropriate things. And this makes everyone around very uncomfortable. And when you're the person that can handle that situation, you become the leader of the group. So this is a good skill to have. So let's say your Uncle Billy, he comes up and he says, Baron, he says, do you agree that Hillary Clinton was the best candidate for president ever? Or he says, would you agree Trump can do nothing wrong? Everything he does is perfect. I love him, right? Just something that's very one-sided. He clearly isn't open to a discussion. He's getting worked up. How do you approach that? What do you say? I suggest a 2-punch combo to do this because 1 punch isn't going to do it. And something that I would normally suggest, take him into another room. So it's just you two one-on-one. Because anytime you have to say something that they may not appreciate, saying it one-on-one is better. But when somebody's drunk, you think they're going to appreciate that? I've never taken someone to a side room and been like, Uncle Billy, it seems like you maybe had a little too much to drink. And Baron, I'm so sorry. I didn't even realize. You're right. I'm going to go home. Never once do they do that. So you have to deal with this because it's a tough situation. No one in the family wants to be the person to get a rise out of drunk Billy and throw him out. So you got to know what to do. So what do? He says those things to you. How do you handle it? So in the 2-punch combo that I suggest, punch number 1, never bring up the fact that they're drunk or have had too much to drink because that only breeds a defensiveness immediately. What are they going to say? Are they going to consider that? I did pour that vodka, that double. That was a little bit stronger than I normally have. No, I'm fine. I haven't had that much. So never bring up the fact that they're drunk and don't bring alcohol in it at all. The first punch is to simply say, Billy, it seems like you're getting really worked up about that. Why don't we just talk about something else? What do you think Billy's going to do? Maybe, if he's the kind of person that usually is a little more conservative and that's enough to rattle him and he'll be like, oh, geez, I must be out of control. Maybe, but more likely, he's not going to do that, right? He's like, well, whatever. So did you see Hillary Clinton the other day? So the second punch, the cross, the knockout punch, is you're going to say, hey, Uncle Billy, I can see this is getting you worked up. We're all just trying to get wound down here. We're getting ready to call it a night. But I was curious. I wanted to ask you, did you get a chance to see those new Apple EarPods that are coming out? I know you have a pair and there's some changes coming out. Did you see that? So what you're doing there is you're diffusing the situation by bringing up the fact that he's excited and excitable. He's not drunk. He's just getting excited. Everyone else, now you're on a team against him, but not in a defensive way. We're just all trying to kind of wind down for the night and, get things kind of calm down in here. And then number 3, you got to lead the frame and establish with a new thread. What's the new thread? Anything. What came to my mind was the Apple EarPods. I wear mine all the time. I knew they have a new version coming out next year. You have to bring that up because someone who's drunk is going to be much more easily led from thread to thread. He doesn't have some prying question about Trump or Hillary Clinton that he wanted to bring up, right? He was just getting worked up and wanted to stir things up. So it'd be very hard for someone who's drunk to be like, oh, he's just trying to steer me to another direction on something like this. As long as you bring up something that's somewhat relatable to him. So if he's a big football fan, he's a big Colts fan, bring up something about the Colts or something that he's at least interested. If you're like, hey, Billy, did you see that the Nutcracker Ballet is coming for its 3rd encore? And he doesn't care about that. He'd be like, oh, whatever, and go back to it. But if you bring up a social conversational thread that's something that he's interested in, 90% of the time he's going to get drawn onto that thread and you're going to be able to keep walking it like that. And this is very easy to rinse and repeat. If he does it again 15 minutes later, you can do the same thing. And each time you do it, even when he's drunk, he's going to realize, oh, bad move. And eventually it's going to taper down. Unless he just gets ridiculously hammered drunk. And at that point, you have to take a tactic that doesn't have finesse like this. Like the goal of this tactic is to be very calm and cool, not make anyone feel worked up. Very low risk, right? There's probably little physical confrontation risk if you're going to present to him that way. Whereas if you're like, Billy, you're drunk, you got to put an arm around him and walk him out, get him an Uber. There could be a bigger scene. And a lot of times it comes to that, right? When people have alcohol, a lot of times there's no logic. But if you can get to this soon enough and diffuse it with a bit of class and finesse, not only are you going to handle the situation with the least risk, but once again, you're going to position yourself as the leader in the group, the charismatic person who can handle challenging situations and make everyone else who's feeling stressed, now they're comfortable because you were the one who was on top of that. And you had the leadership and the courage to step up to that. Everyone realized by addressing that and being the one person who's willing to confront Billy when he's drinking, that takes a lot of confidence, and people really like that and they admire that. And most people wish they could do that. They're just not willing to take the risk to assume that social pressure. Because the worst case scenario is they say something to Billy and Billy just bulldozes them over and makes them look terrible and they're kind of timid and they end up going back to sit to their chair and they're embarrassed. Nobody wants that. It's a small risk, but it's a real risk. So when you're the person who's comfortable assuming that risk and then handling it, you're putting a really good light and people are going to respect you for that. Now, question number 2 involves you. And before I ask it, I don't have any free checklists or anything to give away on this video, but I'm really excited to start talking about the new trash talking and witty comeback program. But when anyone comes at you, whether it's in the workplace or something like that, I'm working on a program that will teach you exactly what to say to any kind of crack or anyone talking trash to you. So keep an eye on that. That's gonna be, been working on about 3 months now. It's hopefully gonna be out in the first quarter of 2019. Don't have anything more about it now, but just wanna let you know. So the second question, what do you do when you're at a work event or with the family and all of a sudden, maybe you're having a few pops and you can tell you're getting a bit buzzed up and you say something and it's just a little slip and you realize you said it. Maybe it was a little off color, like more than you would normally do. Maybe it's just you kind of slur a little bit and you just realize, just not on point. What I find a lot of people want to do, they want to go into damage control. So like, okay, I'll just hang around for 30 more minutes and talk to some people and be sure everything's cool and then I'll leave. No, you want to get out immediately. I don't mean turn and run when you say something, but you want to wind down the conversation organically and get an Uber and get out of there because it's only going to get worse. And here's why. First of all, you've been drinking, so likely you didn't stop an hour ago for it to be going down. So you're probably going to get more intoxicated, not thinking nearly as quickly with the chance to slip up even more. And number 2, now you feel all this stress because you said something you realize you shouldn't have, and now your brain is stressed out. So now you have a combination of added stress in your brain and you've got the booze going up in your brain. Not a good combination. The chance of you saying something and looking worse versus the chance of you putting on this brilliant dog and pony show to everybody like, oh, I guess Barron really did just slip up, is very, very low that you're gonna come out looking better by hanging out. So if you have too much to drink, no problem. A lot of people, you see all these videos of people at work parties just getting hammered. Like the most conservative person that never even cracks a joke or a smile an hour into the open bar, they're punching people in the shoulder and stuff. It's pretty funny. People like to cut loose in those environments. At open bars for some reason, man. Rather than pay the $2.50 for a Bud Light, they want to save the $5 and just get hammed on too. But anyway, be sure that you're quick to get out of there. Don't worry about damage control. If anyone were to bring something up at work the next day or something like that, you're going to be in a much better mind state to address it, and you're going to have time to consider what you said, so you'll have something queued up a lot more, a lot better prepared, so a lot better response if someone were to bring it up. Hey, Barron, I heard you said this and this and this. Yeah, and you put some thought into it and you can kind of rebut it and couch it a little bit better. So don't try to hang around there. Don't do your own 2-punch combo after you've messed up. You just put the guard up, you back out, and head on out. Now, I will tell you, when people drink, a lot of times, there's a higher chance they're gonna try to talk over you. And man, that's annoying when people are sober, let alone drunk. So I've got a video that teaches you 3 tactics of what you can do if someone talks over you, and you can watch that one. You can click right here to watch that one. Or if you haven't seen this video, I think you'll like this one too. Click on one of those 2 and I will talk to you there.